What's up, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more Trance. And we're back with an all-time Trance classic, and indeed, this is one I did react to on my old channel, but just to update any of the people, I think there's like 3 or 4 of you who've told me that you have gone back and looked at some of my reactions on my old channel. Well, guess what? It is finally gone now. They told me it was going to happen like right after I had to leave that channel and came over here to start a new one. That turned out not to be true. It went on for like 5 or 6 more months, and it was just weird, like seeing all the videos sit there but not having access to them. In any case, they did finally take it down, so it's unfortunate. You know, there were some cool reactions in there, but as I've mentioned, most of them I wanted to redo anyway, and ultimately this channel has become much more diverse and larger than the other channel ever was, so, and again, shout out to those of you who've been part of that. But yeah, the old channel is now gone. Regardless, we're going to listen to a tune by Finary, which is a sort of, not one-off, but a sort of, you know, they made a couple hit tunes, and I think that was it. Matt Laws is, I think, the main guy behind it. There was also, I think, Stuart and Sasha, but again, I think Matt Laws was sort of the main production force behind the original 1998. Indeed, this is just an unbelievably classic tune. It spawned a whole number of remixes, including remixes of 1998, and then a year later people were still remixing it, so I have another record that's called 1999, but it's the same tune and it's remixed. I have a Goriello remix, like Ferry Corsten. So yeah, it's just a classic trance tune. I think for people who went to trance parties, the tune that most will remember, or the mix I should say most will remember, is the Paul Van Dyk remix. I like that version, but I don't think it's the best version. It's very cool, don't get me wrong, and again, I heard it a lot, and it's, you know, nostalgic in the sense that it makes me think of some of the parties that I heard it at. But I do think the original mix here, or the Finary Classic Mix, as it's called, which is credited on my copy of the vinyl to Matt Laws, and it's on, what label is this? Let me just check really quickly because I had this out. It is on Ground Level, which is a Belgium label. Yeah, or a Belgian label, I should say. But yeah, this is, as I said, it's on the vinyl. It's credited to Matt Laws specifically, so I don't know if the other guys were part of it at the like early stage. I'm not sure. But either way, as I said, we're going to listen to the Finary Classic Mix, which is this crazy combination of multiple different trance styles from the 90s. Like it's driving, and it has a sort of like, it has pace, it has tempo, so it's sort of hard trance. But it also has this kind of rolling bass line, and the way the melody sort of is configured, it has kind of psychedelic overtones, but it's also melodic, uplifting, and progressive in terms of the way the track unfolds overall. So it sort of blends a number of different 90s trance styles, and it's just perfection. I think it's really fantastic. It is admittedly, the one thing I would say about it, it's not an easy trance tune to put into a set, and the fact that like, usually tracks are more like one flavor or another. So it's one of those tunes that like, it's really cool because it blends some different flavors, but using it in a mix, I think you'd either have to use it as the final track in a set where like, you don't have to follow it with anything, or again, you gotta find some other tracks. You know, I'm thinking of one by K90. You know, there's a couple tunes that combine this, like, it's melodic, it's fast, there's also some acid or something that gives it kind of a psychedelic feel. But it is kind of a rare beast in terms of, you know, it kind of does its own thing, and there's not too many trance tracks that have that specific amalgamation of different flavors. But let's get it. This is 1998 by Finary, and this is the Finary Classic Mix. Well, this, you're now hearing the end of the, what is that? Matt Derry mix. But this is the Finary Classic Mix. It already sounds very, like, tender and emotional, right? Both the but also that rolling melodic bass. Also getting a little more electric. super fast hats. Kick just comes right in. And again, you can already feel that psychedelic vibe with that rolling bass line. Also, that like little, just stopped, but that like icy sort of pulse. As you can hear, my copy has some mileage. Got this very early on, like randomly. I didn't know this track when I got the record. And then when I started hearing the Paul Van Dyke mix at parties like a year later, or within a few months anyway, I was like, this is cool, but you know, you gotta hear the other one. To be fair, this record does have the Paul Van Dyke mix on it. Sort of like sleepy, dreamy, but it's gonna invigorate and ascend. Like sort of acid swizzles, and again the melody is very psychedelic. Talk about euphoric trance. There are a few better examples, I would say, than this tune, in all its versions. But the acid swizzling. Animal noise coming? First time I heard this, I was like, wait, what? I was not expecting that. I'm trying to give you guys a warning. Not over. What? Did you say over? Nothing is over until Matt Laws decides it is. Heartbeat pulse. If there was any doubt that it wasn't over, the hat's coming back there. It's like, oh, okay. There's more to the story. And when I say that we're going to do something similar after it just rolls back in again, not a lot of like build up or ceremony, it just kind of kickstarts it, begins anew. But when I say that the acid is going to do something in this section that it did not do before the break, don't underestimate that. And that's the thing, progressive, hard trance, psychedelic trance, acid trance, like it's everything. It's 90s trance in one tune. Bass line coming back just more ascension. It's bubbling, but just wait. It's just nostalgic. It's like, makes me think of 1998, 1999. I've been going to parties for a year or two. I had just gotten turntables. To just find this like randomly. Some records I had to seek out, both in the old days and more recently. This was just like in a stack. It's like we were finally taken up into an alien ship right at the end of the track. Willingly abducted from Earth. Yeah, an amazing tune. To me, it will always be the standard. Again, I get for a lot of people that the Paul Van Dyk mix is the one that they will think of first, because again, that one just seemed to hit in a way that none of the others did. And in a way, as I said, I get why this one wasn't the one that DJs were spinning the most, because it's maybe a bit hard to find a place in a progressive set for it, because it's a bit fast and it's sort of acidic and it has a long sort of breakdown. But it would be, I guess long breakdown wouldn't, that's kind of the flavor of melodic progressive trance. But in a hard trance set, the flavor's a bit light and euphoric and so on, whereas hard trance tends to be more driving. It has acid, but it's a bit more, kind of tension filled, or it has a wickedness to it. Psychedelic trance, there's enough psychedelic melody there that you can pull it off in a lighter, more progressive psychedelic set. But again, at the same time, normally when you mix psytrance, it's a bit more flavored in the side direction than that tune. So again, I get why it maybe wasn't the most played, but I think it is artistically maybe the most interesting of all the different versions. That said, I'm not sure it's my absolute favorite, because we're going to listen to, in the next reaction, a version of the track called 1999, because it came a year later, under the Goriella name, which again, it started as I think, Corsten and Tiesto, if I'm remembering that correctly, or was that Moonman? I think that was Moonman. But ultimately, Ferry Corsten is definitely behind that one, and that one, all things considered, might be my absolute favorite version, even if, again, I think this is the most artistic and sort of original standard. In any case, let me know what you think of this. Let me know if you are familiar with the Paul Van Dyk version or any of the other. I mean, there's several. I want to say there's double-digit numbers of versions of this track. But yeah, to me, it's this one and the Goriella remix, which we'll come back for. So let me know what you think. I'll see you next time.